He could.
This is the Tom and Jerry Sports Show
on All Noise Radio.
I'm Jerry.
Go.
And I'm Tom.
Ball. What? Shoots, he scores! What a play by Tavares! What? Wait.
All Noise Radio. The noise. You can't ignore.
You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app. I'm here again with Kevin Donlin.
How you doing?
We're going to talk about some things we missed. I mean, we've been off for, the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of coverage been missed.
Yes, big-time coverage, too. We had a new Stanley Cup champion. We had a new NBA Finals champion. Baseball is moving towards the All-Star break. We'll start to get to the halftime point of that. Basically see how
the offseason's going in the NFL, basically,
and
right?
the offseason in the NFL. Got to touch up on the
NFL, of course. The National Football League, we're one summer away.
The NBA draft is on Thursday. So, we got a big week ahead of us.
The NHL.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What a hell of a Stanley Cup final that was.
It really was. It really was. And a lot of people did not see this coming, really. Did not see that Chicago was going to be in the Stanley Cup because they started to fall off. I mean, at one point, Crawford was benched.
Yep, in the first round of the playoffs.
Tampa Bay was always there. Everybody kind of thought they were good, but
I think that honestly, when it came to the Tampa Bay Lightning, Ben Bishop was a question mark. I mean, we knew how big this guy was, and being a goaltender in the NHL, you always want to have a great size, and he's always been a pretty decent goaltender. But I mean, you look at the mock draft. This guy was picked in the third round of the draft. I mean, this was not a guy that was highly brought out coming into the draft. I mean, the size was there, but listen, there's a lot more that comes to goaltending than just size.
Oh, exactly. I mean, he really stepped up. Basically, all playoffs for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Hence the reason they were in the Stanley Cup. They did score a lot of goals. We got to give them that.
Absolutely. And it's funny. A lot of them, the production didn't come from their main guys like Steven Stamkos. It came from that second line with Johnson and all them and Palat. These guys were players that just, you're coming out at the right time and excelling at the right time. And they say that's what it comes down to in the NHL at all times. I mean, as a
Johnson had one of the best playoffs that you can even ask for anybody.
A lot of goals for that man. And he was really making it dangerous the opposing defense at all times.
Absolutely. For the first game, we had Chicago win 2-1. Second game, Tampa Bay won 4-3. This was just kind of, this is a
back and forth battle, man.
Yeah, basically, this is just how the rest of the series was going to go. Tampa Bay won Game 3.
So they had the lead 2-1
in Chicago too. They win 3-2. So far through 3 games, each game has been a 1-goal game.
And it seems like home ice didn't mean nothing.
No, not at all.
Chicago had won in Tampa. Tampa had won in Chicago already by the third game of the series.
Yeah. Then Game 4, Tampa Bay lost to Chicago 2-1. Again, another one-goal game. They go back to Tampa Bay. Chicago wins again 2-1. And we were going into Game 6 in Chicago. Chicago's already up 3-2. It was just shaping up for Chicago, really. I mean,
they're talking about a dynasty with this team. This is the third Stanley Cup final in 6 seasons. I'm sorry.
Chicago came out with the W and the Stanley Cup in Game 6, winning 2-0.
Yeah, shutout the whole nine. And you have to give it to Ben Bishop. Throughout the Stanley Cup final, he actually dealt with a minor injury. I don't know if it was really too minor, but he was on and off the ice at times, and that was definitely a big impact for the Tampa Bay Lightning. As a player, you're on the ice and you're skating back and forth. You're trying to know that you have someone back there that you can trust and that, you can make that one slight mistake, whether it's an angle you're taking to the puck or anything of the sort. You don't have that guy behind, in between the pipes, that you really trusted on all season long. It really just gets in the mind a little bit.
Absolutely.
And listen, you got to score as well. But, listen, the defensive side of the puck for them, you could see that they were keeping both defensemen back a lot throughout the final games of the series, not scoring as much as they were. Yeah. This was a team that just... they lit up Carey Price. I'm not going to, I'm not going to give Carey Price no credit here. He had no team to work with. Aside from PK Subban, the Montreal Canadiens were a very question mark team, especially considering their record this season. But
they did not score a lot of goals this year. Obviously, we've spoken about that, how, Toronto had the same amount of goals at one point in the season.
Maybe like 2 weeks left of the season too.
Yeah.
It was like crazy. It was like a good portion of the season.
Carey Price, as we all know, is up for the Hart Trophy.
Of course. I wanted to actually get into these trophies a little bit. I mean, you look at the Hart Trophy, 3 candidates, Alex Ovechkin, John Tavares, and Carey Price. Carey Price had one hell of a season. Now, they say, okay, goaltenders have their own award and that they shouldn't be up for the MVP. That's not true at all. Let's be honest. I mean, they really would not have been a great team at all, the Montreal Canadiens, if it weren't for Carey Price. Now, listen, it works with everybody. I mean, Ovechkin, would the Washington Capitals have been a good team without Alex Ovechkin? No. I mean, this is a guy that plays both sides now. I mean, I saw it from Alex Ovechkin more than anything. This guy can hit. This guy can score. This guy's shot is unfair, and he's a leader. I mean, the same goes for John Tavares. I mean, I don't know if the hitting. I mean, listen, John Tavares is definitely picking up most of his hitting, but are the Islanders a good team without him? Of course not. I mean, this guy is a captain, he's a leader, and he brings the best out of his teammates. The same with Alex Ovechkin, but Carey Price is the same way.
Yes.
And like we talked about, when you're on the ice and you're skating and you have a guy in between the pipes that you could trust, it really excels your team. And that's what Carey Price was able to do for the Montreal Canadiens all season long.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going on to Carey Price too much. I mean, you have to give more credit to the Chicago Blackhawks. They're talking about the 3rd championship in 6 years, dynasty. I'm an Islander fan, and that's not a dynasty. That's my opinion. Okay, a dynasty is a lot won in a row. Yeah. I mean, the New York Yankees were a dynasty. The Lakers were a dynasty. Even the Celtics for a couple of seasons, a couple of years ago. Well,
Cowboys,
a lot of years ago.
Cowboys, 49ers, Steelers.
Those are dynasties. I mean,
and you know what? You can even put, and as bad as this might sound, you can even put the Bills up there for making it to 4 Super Bowls. But, I mean, losing those 4 Super Bowls, but making it to the Super Bowl 4 straight years is
nothing easy to do.
Not at all.
I mean, the Blackhawks, trust me, you're in the West. They deal with a lot of great teams out in the West. I mean, honestly, I didn't even give them the benefit of the doubt, even up into the Western semifinals.
Yes,
I thought the Anaheim Ducks had their number. Not really just their number, but I thought they outsized them. And in the NHL playoffs, I'm a strong believer that the size is everything in the world in the NHL playoffs. You got to have the size. You got to be able to grit for about a good solid 6 weeks of constant hitting, constant skating. It has to be there. I've mentioned this probably before, but Wayne Gretzky is the perfect example of this. He had faced the New York Islanders and had lost to them. The Islanders had won their 4th in a row, their 4th Stanley Cup championship in a row, a.k.a. their dynasty. Okay? Yeah. And Gretzky's sitting there, and at the old Nassau Coliseum, we're going to miss it. I don't want to throw that out there. But, you got to walk past the home locker room to get to the visitor locker room. Yeah. Okay, and that's how it works at the Nassau Coliseum. And I remember he said he passed by, and you're expecting to hear cheering and screaming and yelling. And you look, and he looks inside, and there's nothing. You don't hear a peep. Okay, they just won their 4th Stanley Cup in a row. Everyone's happy when you win the Stanley Cup. Okay, it's what you've been working so hard for all off season, regular season, playoffs, everything. And he said you walked past it. It was quiet. All you did was hear guys just aching and graking and just icing up as much as they can. And basically you see that it's a fight to win that Stanley Cup.
Like we've said, this is the hardest thing to win because it's 8 weeks long.
A lot of teams too, and 8 weeks long. That's 8 weeks a long time for a lot of hitting.
For one of the most physical sports in the game, and you know what? You can maybe even put it up at number 1 because it's a nonstop game. Mm-hmm. It's basically the only stoppage is for a penalty or a face-off or something like that. Football, you're taking off every play. Like there's a time in between every play.
Yeah, I mean, I could compare the NHL Stanley Cup the same as even the NBA playoffs. I mean, there's a lot of contact in that as well. I mean, in football, listen, obviously an unfair contact, and comparing these sports and the difficulty of winning all 4 sports, the major sports, it's very difficult to win a championship. I mean, you talk about baseball too. I mean, you're playing the most games out of anything. Yeah, and you're playing most consistently than anything. So, I mean, all these sports, it's very difficult to win. I mean, a dynasty can be defined in all 4 sports the same way. You got to win a couple of years in a row. Okay, I mean, winning 3 in 6 years, that's a great accomplishment. The Giants of San Francisco have done something very similar. They've won a lot in a couple of years. A dynasty, the consistency of being on top and basically the way you were able to build your program.
Yeah.
I mean, build your program to keep these constant players or your cornerstone players that were able to, go ahead and get you those championships in a row. Listen, I'm not taking anything away from the Chicago Blackhawks, the San Francisco Giants. Great work from both organizations in the last couple of years, but a dynasty, I don't think that's the way to word it. I want to get more into the
NHL draft.
The NHL draft, the NHL trade rumors, and the rest of these picks for the awards. Yeah, I mean, you got the Vezina Trophy coming up. Obviously, we just talked about Carey Price. I could tell you that my pick for the Vezina Trophy is honestly, it's going to go to Carey Price. I
Absolutely.
even think the MVP will go to Carey Price, too. I'm an Islander fan. I want John Tavares to win the MVP. Of course I do, but
we all do.
At the same time, you got to be realistic. Carey Price has been unbelievable this year for his team. I don't know if maybe the playoff little struggles might hold him back a little bit, but it's not like Alexander Ovechkin or John Tavares did enough in the playoffs to dethrone that. You got the Norris Trophy with Drew Doughty, Erik Karlsson, and PK Subban. This is a tough one.
Yeah, because, I mean, you look at it.
These are defensemen that are three of the best defensemen in hockey.
Definitely.
If I were to give my pick for this, I mean, I know the experts probably have Drew Doughty going there because of everything, but I mean, the fact that they didn't make the playoffs and they missed the playoffs, I know the Western Conference is very tough, but my pick, honestly, is Erik Karlsson. I mean, Ottawa made some run, man. That was really incredible. That was probably one of the most exciting parts of the NHL season was watching Ottawa climb all the way from the bottom to the top, make the playoffs. Obviously, it was a short exit, but Erik Karlsson was a big contributor, and I that's my pick.
I love Erik Karlsson.
Going on to the Calder Trophy, you got Aaron Ekblad, Johnny Gaudreau, and Mark Stone. Three great rookies this season. Honestly, Aaron Ekblad was the big pickup early on in the NHL draft last year. Made a big impact right away, but my pick's got to go to Johnny Gaudreau. I mean, again, Calgary, same thing as Ottawa. Surprised. I mean, you're talking about a team that, made a run and gave Anaheim everything they could. Yeah. And then not to mention, obviously, LA didn't make the playoffs because of that.
Yeah.
But, moving on. I mean, we're going on to NHL the trade rumors going around the NHL right now, and for us Islander fans out here, we're hearing a big one contributing of...
Yeah, it's a mixed... you're hearing mixed reports. You're hearing that he's on the trade block. You're hearing that he may not be on the trade block.
Kyle Okposo.
You don't know. I mean, right now, obviously, he's in his last year of his contract, a 5-year contract, I believe, that he signed before this.
He signed it a couple of years. He signed it right when Tavares signed his.
Yeah.
Tavares, I think, had an extra year, though.
They're talking about him maybe wanting $7 million per year. It's also sounding like that, the Islanders obviously don't want to give him that. So that's why he's so-called on the trade block. And you know what? It's right for the Islanders to at least shop. At least shop him, see what you can get for him. I believe that they're at least going to try to get a superstar or trade for a first round pick to trade for for a superstar, something like that. I think that's how it's going to go.
Well, they just want to, they want to get an idea. They want to get an idea of what they can get for him. Take a look.
Basically kicking around.
But you got to remember, this guy has his flaws. I mean, he had that eye surgery last year that a lot of us were all worried about whether or not he was even going to come back again and even finish his career as a hockey player in the NHL. For the Islanders, this is a situation where you can't give someone $7 million when basically the production dropped for this gentleman as soon as he got back. And listen, it takes time. You got to get your legs back underneath you. He didn't have the opportunity to skate too often. Obviously, during this injury, this was a very serious injury. He had to take care of that eye, make sure everything was good. It was career-threatening, basically. Yeah. And, for him, I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm a big fan of him. He's a great player, great skill, great hands. But the production was down. If to pay a guy $7 million when, the production is down like that, it's basically something that, you got to be skeptical about.
We're going to take a break. We're going to get back into this stuff when we get back. You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on Old Noise Radio on the Live 365 app. Keep it live.
Our jobs occupy more than half our waking hours. Shouldn't we be doing something we love? Call Connecticut School of Broadcasting at 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to gocsb.com. Since 1964, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, with a network of 12 campuses from Massachusetts to Miami, has helped place thousands of grads as DJs, sportscasters, entertainment reporters, behind the scenes in audio and video production, every aspect of the broadcast media. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has trained men and women of all ages and backgrounds in a matter of months, not years. Learn by doing from area radio and TV pros. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to GoCSB.com. Remember, it's never too late to love what you do. Day and evening classes begin soon. Get trained. Get connected now.
Mickey on the track.
Yeah, baby. Baby, won't you come my way?
You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on the All Noise Radio and Live 365 app. We finished up talking about Kyle Okposo, trade rumors. We want to try and get into the NHL draft because the New York Rangers as well, trying to get rid of Talbot, their backup goaltender, very good goaltender last year. Both teams trying to use these two stars basically to try to get back in the first round. Neither team obviously not having a first round pick in the NHL draft this season. The NHL draft, it's going to be an interesting one. A lot of good players in the very early going.
Yeah, I believe the Islanders don't have their first-round pick because of the Thomas Vanek trade.
Yes. There was a choice whether they wanted to give up the one last year, which was a very smart move of the Islanders.
Yeah.
They obviously expected big things
Picking up
this year.
and everything. And then also with the Rangers obviously gave up their first-round pick in the Yandel deal. So...
Yeah, so neither team really with a first-round pick, both trying to get back into the first round. There's a lot of talent, to say the least, in this draft, starting basically with the number one overall pick. This kid was basically, after the draft order was announced, it just seemed like Edmonton Oilers fans were celebrating. They had gotten the magical McDavid. That's basically how they call it. Connor McDavid out of Erie in the OHL, very, very good player. I mean, there's no other way to describe him. Basically, when John Tavares was coming into the NHL, they had him considered the next Sidney Crosby. And he is playing a very good game, John Tavares. He's basically up to Sidney Crosby level with his leadership and his puck skills and his scoring ability. Both players very, very unique. And Connor McDavid is the next on the list. I mean, they're comparing him to Sidney Crosby as well. They're basically comparing their numbers from their OHL days, and both players very similar.
Yeah, I mean, Crosby and McDavid through 14 games at one point in the season. Connor McDavid had 14 goals. Sidney Crosby had 9. Connor McDavid had 28 assists, along with Sidney Crosby's 24. Obviously, McDavid had 42 points to Crosby's 33. He had a plus 30 compared to Crosby's plus 11. And it just... This was like the biggest thing. McDavid's team was 13-0 through those 14 games with
So basically, this guy was unstoppable. That's basically the way to put it.
Yeah.
And the defenses did not have an answer.
That was
for
only
this guy.
through 14 games. I mean,
Still. Nonetheless, that's pretty impressive. Obviously, Connor McDavid didn't even win the championship this year. I mean, it has a large part that, listen, NHL's a team sport. You need a lot more than one player to win a championship. You can ask Sidney Crosby that. You can ask John Tavares that. You can ask Ryan McDonough that. And Henrik Lundqvist. I mean, it takes more than one player to win an NHL championship. But Connor McDavid, basically the real deal coming into this draft.
He's 6'1". 195 pounds compared to Sidney Crosby's 5'11", 200 pounds. So he's bigger. That when he gets into the NHL, he's gonna start getting a little bit more
bigger too. I mean,
definitely.
Listen, these kids are very young when they come into the draft. I mean, a lot of NHL prospects usually take a couple of years in the minors before they're even ready to have the size and the readiness to make it to the NHL.
And Wayne Gretzky, the great one himself, said that McDavid is the best prospect the NHL has seen in the last 30 years. So obviously he's saying he's better than Sidney Crosby. So you heard it there, yourself from Wayne Gretzky himself,
the greatest player ever to live.
Yeah. So
I had to be able to watch that, man. He was something else, Wayne Gretzky. Man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But moving on to the second pick overall, you got Jack Eichel coming out of Boston University, center, 6'2", 193 pounds, bigger than Connor McDavid. And from what I've heard, Very, very skilled player, too. Right now, it seemed like for a while that getting either one of these two players was going to be a bonus for your hockey club. I mean, that's what it really came down to.
I mean, basically, they were just saying that, Connor McDavid edged out Jack Eichel of the first pick. So if Connor McDavid was not in this draft, obviously Jack Eichel would be the number one pick.
Hands down number one pick.
So, I mean, you could even go 1A, 1B for these two teams. So Edmonton and Buffalo kind of have, they're kind of pretty set with the first two picks.
They definitely got cornerstones for the draft this season. I've been hearing rumors for Kyle Okposo with the Buffalo Sabres. It'd be nice to be able to pick up that second overall pick, but I highly doubt it. And Jack Eichel is a very rare piece to get, and I would stick with that pick right away. Buffalo, you got yourself a cornerstone player. Number 3 goes to the Arizona Coyotes. Still sounds crazy to say it like that. But it's going to Dylan Strome, nonetheless, the younger brother from Erie OHL as well. The younger brother of the New York Islanders, Ryan Strome. Very talented player, very big kid, 6'3", 187 pounds. The height, the size still ain't there, but the size is there, but just the weight needs to be picked up a little bit.
I think he's bigger than Ryan.
He absolutely is bigger than Ryan. Ryan, I think, is only like 6'1", I think.
Well, you got to think, too. I mean, look at just John Tavares. John Tavares came in small, too. And just,
it takes time. You got to hit the weight room.
Yeah,
of course. You got to learn to get to hit the weight room.
if you actually watch, now I've been watching John Tavares, obviously, since he's come out and made the Islanders team. You just see the difference. One of the biggest differences is his board play. I mean, this guy is so strong on the puck. It's unbelievable. I mean, you used to watch him, and he would get that one little jab to the back, and he would kind of stumble.
Hit the ice right away, of course, yeah. But
now, I mean, he's unbelievable, and just the work that he's put in is unbelievable. But
it's half the battle. I mean, getting a draft prospect is half the battle. I mean, half the battle for a draft prospect basically is, you work hard in the OHL, and you earn your play with your puck skills and your puck handling and your scoring ability. But then when you get to the NHL level, like we've talked about over and over with the NHL playoffs, you need the size to win.
Yes.
And in order to get the size, you need to hit the weight room a lot.
And like we said,
almost more than you hit the ice, to be honest.
Yeah. And, with the NHL compared to, the NFL and the NBA and obviously Major League Baseball as well, Major League Baseball and hockey, these players have to go through the minors. Yep. Always. Mm-hmm. You rarely ever see a player come out of the draft and right onto a team. You'll see Connor McDavid make the team right away.
They're still very young.
We know.
Well, that's because in the NBA and the NFL, they've basically
they don't have.
They made it almost basically mandatory to go to college. You better go to college. You better work on yourself. You better get your size up, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to compete.
That's another thing. I mean, how old is Dylan Strome? Dylan Strome's young.
These kids are 19 years old.
18, 19 years old. So when you're looking at the NFL and the NBA,
that's finishing high school. Almost. You know what I mean? I mean, you're as a high school kid, you almost graduate. Playing 1 year of college, and you're already a draft prospect in the NHL. And obviously,
these guys are looked at when they're 16.
Yep.
For the draft.
Well, people have known about Connor McDavid for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, since the kid was 15 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the rare talents.
And it's the same thing with baseball. Baseball people, these players are looked at it when they're 14, 15 years old, and already known as being a top prospect. So it's just it's funny when you look at it. You have the NHL and the MLB, where you have to go through the minors. Usually players will go through the minors for at least 2 years. At least 2 years. If they're that good, maybe one, whatever. But when you look at the NFL and the NBA, you're in the first round or so. You're in the second round. You're still gonna make the team. You're still gonna be playing. And it's just a perfect transition into what we're going to talk about next with the NBA.
Yep.
We're going to get into the NBA draft now, but first I want to talk about, obviously, we have a new NBA Finals champion.
Yep, and a new king of the NBA almost, with the MVP award as well, Steph Curry. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to the entire Warriors team. I think a lot of those players have got a lot of credit, that well deserved. They had a great season. Basically, their home record was really unfair. Those home fans should be very, very thrilled. Golden State, the Oakland area, they hey, they earned it. I mean, they've been waiting a long time. They've had a lot of struggles with their professional teams, especially, the Oakland Raiders and even Golden State as well for the past couple of seasons. But you know what? Steph Curry has brought that team to the promised land, and they dethroned the king himself in order to get there.
Basically, Golden State just played their game, and basically the whole playoffs, they played their game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They played a lot of good teams.
They were a team that lived and died by the three ball. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just basically that. Yeah, that's how it was with Golden State, and they won a championship that way.
Yeah,
they won a championship that way. Game 1 went to Golden State 108-100. Game 2 went to Cleveland 95-93. Game 3 went to Cleveland 96-91.
It's funny how when you talk about the scores, and whenever Cleveland won, they were under 100 points.
Yes.
So basically you saw that Cleveland was playing a lot of great defense in the early going of that series.
Then, Game 4, Golden State won 103-82.
103.
Game 5, 104-91 Golden State.
104.
And Game 6, 105-97 to take home the finals champion.
So basically it was 2-1 Cleveland. And Cleveland had, it was in their hands to go ahead and win this championship. I mean, listen, I'll give credit to LeBron James as much as you can. You took a team that consisted of, let's be honest, a lot of former New York Knicks players, and we saw those teams in New York, very closely. Did not finish over 500 once with these players. You put LeBron James with these guys and go ahead and make it to the NBA Finals. Granted, you had Kyrie Irving, but you basically didn't have Kyrie Irving for that entire series. You didn't have Kevin Love for that entire series. And Timothy Mozgov looked like a superhero. Yeah. You talk to anybody in New York or in Denver about Timothy Mozgov, and they couldn't wait to get rid of this guy. Yeah. And if they can get anything in return, and now you see that Cleveland just re-signed him actually to the team option of they only have to pay this man $4.8 million or something like that, which is a hell of a deal for a big man that basically contributed, was big, got bigger. You could tell he's gotten bigger, and he's turning out to be a very good player, very good contributor.
Absolutely. I mean, LeBron James did basically everything he could have done in the finals, and just couldn't pull it home. This is his 4th championship that he's lost. He's 2-4 in the championship.
I mean, you know what it is? A lot of people can be perceived as that, but that's what happens when you change teams over and over and over. I mean, you can't be like that. I mean, granted, he's only played for 2 teams, but you've gone from one team to another team to another team, and that's how it works in this league. I mean, basically, he's lost all of his championships with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm not going to fault the Cleveland Cavaliers front office for any of those losses, and I mean, neither should he, and I mean, you can't even really blame LeBron either. I mean, it just worked out this way. I mean, listen, you played the San Antonio Spurs, who are a very good team, okay, and they were able to take you down. They were able to take them down with both teams, to be honest, with Cleveland and the Miami Heat. A well-coached team, and basically the way LeBron plays is you could see that he's the coach of this team, and that's what happens when you lose control. I mean, for the Cleveland front office, you got to look and you got to talk to LeBron and say, listen, LeBron, I know you want the ball in your hands when it comes down to it. You hit the game winner. You're the hero, da-da-da-da-da. But basketball is a team sport. It's always been a team sport. It's just like basketball. I mean, it's just like hockey. It's just like football, and it's just like baseball. You need to win with a team and not just one player. And everyone's like, oh, Michael Jordan won all those championships, 6 championships. It wasn't just him. And you can ask any Chicago Bull fan who won those championships for you. They'll tell you it took a lot of team effort. It took Steve Kerr, who just won his first championship as a head coach. It took Dennis Rodman and Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, and then you got Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan was a good leader. And you talk to Michael, and he just explains, "Do you think you're the greatest player of all time? I think I played for one of the greatest teams of all time." That's how he words it all the time. Yeah. But we'll be right back.
Yeah, we're going to take a break. We're going to get more into LeBron James when we get back. You're listening to Tom and Jerry Sports Show on Old Noise Radio on the Live 365 app. Keep it locked.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting founder Dick Robinson.
You know, the media business has changed a lot since we opened our doors in 1964. Now media content is everywhere, on air, online, on the go. More than ever, companies are looking for people to help drive this new media.
At Connecticut School of Broadcasting, you'll get hands-on training on the latest software and equipment in a matter of months, not years. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has placed thousands of grads in broadcast media careers.
It's all about versatility. You see, at a radio station, if you also know how to shoot, edit, and post videos, you become a pretty hot commodity. That's the training you get at Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Connecticut School of Broadcasting with locations up and down the East Coast from Massachusetts to Miami. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to GoCSB.com. Connecticut School of Broadcasting, the nation's oldest and largest group of broadcast media schools. Redefining training in radio, TV, and new media. Get trained. Get connected. 1-800-TV-RADIO.
OH and the dime. Oh shit. Always on my mind.
East 1999.
You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on the All Noise Radio and Live 365 app. We finished up before talking about Michael Jordan and his comparison basically with LeBron James and their
There
legacies.
is no comparison.
There really
There
isn't.
is none.
There isn't.
First of all, you cannot compare these two because they play two different. They play two different styles of game, really.
Yeah.
And they're two different sizes.
Yep. Two different.
Really, they have two different positions.
Yep.
They're really the only one that you can compare to Michael Jordan is Kobe Bryant. They're both 6'6". They both play the same style of play. They both play the same position.
Mm-hmm.
Those two guys can be brought up in the same sentence. You can't bring up. It's not fair to bring up LeBron James in a conversation with Michael Jordan. It's not fair because you know what? Michael Jordan, skill-wise, is better than LeBron James. LeBron James just
the
size and athleticism. Obviously, you're going to say LeBron James over anybody. I mean, the guy's a freak of nature. He's a 6'10", 6'9", 6'8".
He's 6'8", 6'9".
What is he? 250.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And the guy runs faster than anybody in the NBA.
Yep.
So
I mean,
it's like, and he's strong. How could you? There's no. You can't compare them. You can't compare them.
The one thing you can try to compare in the NBA is you got to compare teams. I mean, being a player on a team is you have a role. Okay, and each player has a role, and they need to accept their role, and that's the way a team works, and that's how you get a championship with the coach leading the way, basically, or your captain leading the way. And what happened with LeBron James was this season has been a season. Everyone wants to say, "Oh, injuries, bail him out," and that's because people just have hatred for the man. I mean, I don't like LeBron. I don't think what he did to Cleveland was the right thing to do at all. I mean, if you want to improve your legacy, you try to, work with your organization and try to get a championship for these guys, for these people that have been rooting for you and have been literally behind your back since day one. And you went ahead and you left for, people like to say a super team. Okay. And it led to an NBA championship. Obviously, it took a couple of seasons even for them to do that right off the bat. But what happened was, when you're going to talk about a legacy for someone, you talk about the legacy of a team, really, before you talk about anyone's legacy. I mean, LeBron James, is he a top 5 player to ever live?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, this guy is a freak of nature, like he just said. I mean, this guy's his talent is rare. I mean, this guy he can step back and shoot. He can drive the whole.
He never had that though before.
Yeah,
he's been working on his shot a lot more.
Absolutely.
Through the years, but I mean, other than him driving the lane, I mean that was his game. That was his game.
Yeah,
and it always will be his game.
Well,
a step
drawing
back,
fouls, everything.
Yeah, a step back, fadeaway shot, a step back three. That's not his game, and
nope.
he's trying to add that to his game. But
I honestly think LeBron made it. I just read. We were just reading obviously that report, and basically, a guy's talking about is it LeBron's fault that he didn't make his teammates better? I'm sorry. I mean, either this guy didn't watch the NBA Finals or, he's just delusional. Because if you don't think LeBron James didn't make Iman Shumpert, J.R. Smith, Matthew Dellavedova, I don't even know if I said his name right, okay? Timothy Mozgov. You going to tell me these guys were all NBA Final role player caliber? Because they weren't. And then you can ask the New York Knicks, you can ask the Denver Nuggets, and you can ask the Cleveland Cavaliers before LeBron James even showed up. So what happens is, did he make these guys better? Absolutely. Okay, were they good enough to win an NBA championship? No. I mean, I can say absolutely no. You know what I mean?
The thing that's going to hurt LeBron James, and I feel like this, still, I never liked LeBron James. I'll say that right now. I've never liked him. Always, also because I've been such a big Laker fan. I'm a big Kobe fan. Mm-hmm. I've always felt like Kobe was 1A, 1B with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And I've always felt that way, and I will always feel that way because LeBron James did it wrong. His career did it wrong.
Mm-hmm. You get drafted by a team.
You stay with that team.
If they're going to pay you the right amount of money to stay with them, you do.
Exactly.
And they were going to pay him identical money. Because obviously we're in a salary cap era of the NBA. And basically, you're going to get paid the same amount of money by the Miami Heat as you were with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah. You just chose to go to a super team.
Exactly.
Which just showed selfishness. And I mean, obviously everyone's looking for a championship, but that's not the way you look for it.
Kobe has been with one team his whole career. The first trade after he was drafted by the Hornets, which ended up happening that day, him being traded, had nothing to do with Kobe Bryant. It wasn't an Eli Manning type, move where Eli just didn't want to go to San Diego, blah, 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 blah.
And it could be a D'Angelo Russell, too, this year with the 76ers.
So the Lakers and Charlotte ended up just making that trade. Obviously, Charlotte's kicking themselves in the rear for this, but Kobe stayed with the Lakers. He played his whole career with the Lakers and still is playing his career with the Lakers. He had a few years in between where, after Shaq left and they were just bad, and then you have an even worse season this year.
And you build. That's what happens.
That's exactly what happened.
Seasons and you build.
Basically they ended up getting Pau Gasol, Lamar Odom, guys like that, Derek Fisher back. And you put together a championship team again, and Kobe won 2 in a row.
Yep.
So, it's just it's something like that. Yeah, there was a time where Kobe was in reports, saying that he wanted to be traded, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. He didn't start a whole thing about it. You
didn't see the effectiveness on the court, basically, from the whole procedure. But what happens is, from LeBron, what I've seen is I have never seen a bad season out of LeBron James. I've never seen a team finish dead last with LeBron James on it. Now, granted, he didn't win the championship. Okay, understandable. But it just shows what kind of legacy LeBron James is going to leave. This guy is a top 5 player. Okay? Is he the best to ever live? It's such an argument, like he said, it's such a hard argument to make because these guys are different kinds of players, different roles, basically. And listen, you need to fill a role in order to win a championship.
See, the way I look at it is, if you're going to compare players, you got to compare players in the same position.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
If you want to say the top 5 in the NBA point guards, you start listing point guards, John Stockton, guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go to shooting guards, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go to small forwards, LeBron James. And LeBron James could even be put in the same category as a power forward as well. But small forwards, you look at something like that.
Is he better than Carmelo Anthony? Is he leaving a better legacy than Carmelo Anthony? Yes.
100%.
I'm not going to deny that at all. Yeah, it's not even close. This guy's winning at all costs.
Yeah.
Is he winning a championship every year? No.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't even put Carmelo Anthony up in the top 5 of small forwards.
Not even.
In the NBA. The guy's only won, one playoff series?
I'm not even really sure. His run in Denver, he had a bunch of runs in Denver, and I'll give him credit for those. Obviously, switching teams, like I said, it's never the best bargain. The Denver Nuggets now with Ty Lawson and, even when they had Timothy Mozgov, they probably could have made a run with Carmelo.
But, if you really look at it, when you're looking at top players ever in the history of teams, the history of sports, you look at Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter played his whole career. Almost And
did he have a role on that team?
Absolutely.
Was it to do everything?
No.
Exactly. Is it a different sport? Yes, but it is the same. But
you know what?
Same concept.
You know what?
Basically,
NBA is probably the only sport that one player can dominate.
Of
One
course.
player can dominate, change a whole game around.
Absolutely.
NHL, it's hard because
you
you have
kidding me? Yo,
because you
even-
have to change lines. Baseball, you're only up every 9 guys. One guy, one time every 9 guys.
But even as a pitcher can make a big impact to a team.
A pitcher can.
Every sport, you're going to have guys that are more dominant than others, and they're going to make an impact in your wins, losses. But
there's more important positions.
Yeah.
You could say.
In football, the same way.
Football, you have a quarterback. But
Yep.
the thing is, a quarterback doesn't play defense.
And he also doesn't protect himself either.
Yeah.
So
you look at something like that. NFL is probably the biggest team sport, if you really think about it.
Well, yeah. You need roles. Guys need to fill in roles and do it correctly. And if everything works work, look what happens. You win championships.
And if you don't have a quarterback really in the NFL, you're just not going to be good.
Yep.
That's basically what it's going to be. But also, if you look at, he can be a decent quarterback, and if you have everything else around him, you're going to be a good team.
Does Steph Curry win that championship without Draymond Green?
Probably
Do they
not.
win? Exactly. That's
not.
like the perfect example to point out. You need guys that are going to fill in roles, accept their roles, and play great basketball. And that's how it works. The NHL. Do the Blackhawks win without Seabrook?
No.
Duncan Keith?
No.
I'm listing stars right now, but Homerson even.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like these are guys
Andrew
that
Shaw.
Yeah. These are
I
clutch
love
guys.
that guy.
Yeah, he's very good, very underrated player, second, third liner. But speaking of role players, the NBA draft is going to be underway this Thursday night. And, hey, these teams are looking for the perfect role players for their teams. And let's start it off right off the bat. I'm ready to go. We'll go with the number 1 overall pick in the draft. He's going as a huge favorite to go as number 1.
Yeah, well, it's already
like a lock, basically.
Yeah, they said that Minnesota actually informed him that he will be the number 1 pick. You're looking at Karl Anthony Towns as the number 1 pick.
Power forward, Kentucky, defensive beast, and it's funny.
He's offensively a beast too.
And I don't even think you understand the extent of it, because I don't think people realize Karl Anthony Towns is a 7-footer, and he got drafted. Not drafted. He got picked up and recruited by Kentucky and their great coach because this guy is money, and people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this. He is a money 3-point shooter.
He really is.
He is he's actually...
I've been watching tape on
yeah, he's
him
an
shooting
incredible
3-point.
3-point shooter. He shot 70 out of 100 from 3-point range. 100 3-pointers and you hit 70 of them? That's
at the
70%.
power forward. At the power forward.
At
position.
7 feet tall.
Yeah.
This guy is a rare talent. He is an unbelievable player. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, I'll tell you, hey, all the power to you. Excellent job losing towards the end of the season. I can't believe the New York Knicks found a way to screw this up.
Again,
he is a once-in-a-lifetime player. The Knicks really needed somebody like this. If they want to trade that 4th overall pick, the one thing I can tell you, if you want to trade that 4th overall pick, go up to number 1 and get this guy, because this is a game changer. This is a team changer. Okay, does he have a LeBron James impact? He definitely has the potential for it. Absolutely. Guy could do it all. Number 1, basically hands down.
He could play probably both power forward and center, but I would most likely see him at power forward.
He's going to have a presence on both sides. It's just going to be unfair. He's very good.
He's not as built.
Is this going to put Minnesota over the map? Over the level to make the playoffs in the West?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely. That's 100%. That's the kind of player he is.
This is going to be we just heard it on the radio. This is going to be their 3rd first-round pick.
Yep.
First overall pick.
I don't include Anthony Bennett as that first overall pick caliber.
Yeah.
But he's also, again, listen, this is a sport with roles. You need role players. Do I want Anthony Bennett to go out and be a superstar because he was the number 1 overall pick? No. That's not why you're there. You're there to complete a role. You're there to rebound. You're there to score from the paint. You're there to be a defensive presence in the paint. Your size needs to be there.
And you have that player in Andrew Wiggins.
Yep. Andrew Wiggins is an excellent scorer. You got the point guard with Ricky Rubio. Now you got the defensive presence with Pekovic and Karl Anthony Towns and even Gorgie Jang. This team has so much size now. Minnesota is going to be one hell of a team. They're going to be in the Western Conference playoffs, and you heard it here first.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break. We're going to get into some NFL talk and the rest of this NBA draft. When we get back, you listen to Tom and Jerry Sports Show on All Noise Radio on the Live 365 app. Keep it locked.
Noise Radio. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. All Noise Radio is an internet radio station that's fully produced by graduates of the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. From modern rock to old school hip hop, country to classical, news, talk, sports, and more. It's the noise you can't ignore. Log on to allnoiseradio.com. Fire up the station. Find out more about your favorite jocks. Get the latest CSB news and more. Plus, you can take All Noise Radio with you on the go for free. Just download the Live 365 app to your iPhone, iPod Touch, or BlackBerry and search All Noise Radio. Check out tomorrow's broadcasters today at allnoiseradio.com. Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
You're listening to the Tom and Jerry Sports Show on the All Noise Radio and Live 365 app. We finished up talking about the NBA draft. We got past the number 1 overall pick, Karl Anthony Towns, hands down, should be the number 1. Moving on to number 2 in your Los Angeles Lakers.
I really, really wanted Karl Anthony Towns, but it's obviously not going to happen. Obviously the number 2 in most mock drafts is Jahlil Okafor. I'm hearing mixed reports about him, and I'm hearing things about him. I don't know. I hear bust all over.
The one thing I've heard, and I honestly was one of those guys too, but the one thing I've heard is that he's a defensive liability. But you know what? The best example was brought up. What we were listening to earlier was, you look at the NBA. And you look at every prospect that's ever come, basically, and even Anthony Davis to a degree, Everyone thinks that these players have defensive liabilities. They're all going to think they have defensive liabilities, but in time, you learn to be in the right area, the right place. This is why you're in the NBA. You're going to get bigger. You're going to get stronger. And then, what comes with it is good defense.
Yeah.
And I think Jahlil Okafor, when it comes to that, I think the defensive liability will be, something in the backseat after a couple of seasons. Do I think he's going to be as ready to go as Karl Anthony Towns is? No, absolutely not. But I think in 3 or 4 years, this guy got to be a great player and a great contributor and a great role player. Absolutely. And when I say role player, I don't mean like a couple of minutes off the bench kind of thing or a starter playing decent minutes. He's going to be a great player.
The one thing, obviously, right now, the reports that are going on right now is that there's a 3-way trade in the discussions right now for DeMarcus Cousins going to the Lakers, as well as Vucevic going somewhere as well. Those are the 2 big names in that trade. I would have to guess that the number 2 pick is being offered by the Lakers. Because
I don't know what else they can offer to get those kind of style.
Well, yeah,
players,
that's what I'm saying.
Honest.
Like if there's a chance to get a guy like DeMarcus Cousins,
you take it.
You do take it, but there's no way that you're gonna get a guy like that without giving up at least something like a 2nd round pick that you have at least. Maybe a 1st round pick next year.
I really think Jahlil Okafor is like a younger DeMarcus Cousins, if I were to make one comparison. Because let's be honest, the Sacramento Kings, obviously there's no defensive presence there. And DeMarcus Cousins has been a great player offensively. And the numbers are there, assists, rebounds, the whole 9. He's rebounding for his team really well. I'm not taking anything away from him. But there's still a lack of defensive presence on that team. And, could he be a partial blame? Of course, absolutely. You need to have the defensive pressure. You need to be a good defensive team in the NBA if you want to win.
Absolutely.
I think the only team that really showed that could be a lack of, would be the Golden State Warriors. But they proved a lot this year.
They played defense in the playoffs, though.
They made a big difference. No, I'm saying even just the full year altogether. You look at guys like Klay Thompson and even Steph Curry and their defensive skills in the past 2 or 3 seasons under Mark Jackson and other coaches. Steve Kerr obviously brought this team to the defensive side of the ball, understood what it takes to win a championship, and that's what happens when you play with someone like Michael Jordan, who took the defensive side of the ball as serious as scoring. You got to put just as much effort in your shooting as you do with your defensive side, and that's how you win a championship. But we're moving on, I guess. We'll go on to the 3rd overall pick. This is an interesting scenario right now with the 76ers. D'Angelo Russell really is hands down basically everyone's number 3 overall pick.
But you know what? He could even go 2 as well.
Yeah, that's true.
When you think about it, because what do the Lakers have at other than Kobe? But you're looking at Kobe and you're like, all right.
You got a season or two left.
Yeah.
You need someone else to be taking care of the basketball.
Yeah,
and this
and-
might be the Lakers' one chance to get a pick of this high up. So, yeah, I mean, the D'Angelo Russell going to the Los Angeles Lakers, I don't put it against them. I really wouldn't.
The Lakers could use anything. They can use a center. They can use a shooting guard. They can use a point guard. They'll have Julius Randle coming back, which is amazing. I'm really excited to see because I do think he's a Zach Randolph type kind of player. I mean, his comparison to Zach Randolph is absolutely perfect, in my eyes at least.
No, yeah, 100%.
So, getting him back, getting Kobe back, guys like that, I think it's gonna be big. And then if you can say you pull off a trade for DeMarcus Cousins,
basically you're not going to get the number 2 overall pick ever again for the Lakers for at least the next couple of seasons. I mean, so when you do get this pick, you got to make the right one. And Jahlil Okafor, I know there are people saying that he's dropping. D'Angelo Russell, is he the answer if you don't go after him? Of course. I mean, the Lakers, when it comes to their size in the paint, I mean, that's a little bit of a question mark, and that's why the pressure is to go ahead and take Jahlil Okafor. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But me personally, I think D'Angelo Russell is, a very, very good talent. I was hearing someone talk about it the other day about, D'Angelo Russell. He's one of those picks that every Knicks fan would be like jumping up for joy to grab. But that, him personally, he didn't like it. And it's like he said he didn't see it in D'Angelo Russell. And I don't know what he doesn't see because, I mean, I'm one of those that basically, you see D'Angelo Russell and you see the Ohio State team that he was pushing along through the dance this year. There wasn't a lot of talent on there. There really wasn't. The coaching scenario was a little up in the woods. Ohio State was a team that was looking like it was going on the down when it came to college basketball. And this kid basically brought the shine right out of this team. D'Angelo Russell's a very good ball handler. Is he the best shooter right away? No. But was LeBron James the best shooter right away? No.
Yeah.
So that's how it works in the NBA. You work on this stuff. You can work on shooting. You can't work on ball handle. If you don't have ball handle, you don't have ball handle. That's how it works, man.
Yeah.
You're not going to just build that up to perfection. And D'Angelo Russell is a really good possession guy. He knows how to find his teammates. Does he know how to find his teammates for open shots? Hey, anybody on Ohio State while they were making their run, or anyone that basically didn't pick Ohio State during their dances, because I mean he was just showing how to share the ball, how to find his teammates. This guy was averaging a good amount of assists a game. He was a great player, and I'm a huge fan. I think the New York Knicks getting D'Angelo Russell would be the most incredible scenario right now. And the fact that he has mentioned that he doesn't want to play for the 76ers is opening all doors for the New York Knicks. I mean, unless the Los Angeles Lakers are going to go out and grab him, which my one reason why, again, I don't think they're going to take him is because of the need for a big man.
Yeah.
Okay, they're obviously, you need to rebound in the NBA.
Yeah.
You need to play defense, you need to rebound. And in order to rebound, you look at it, you can see numbers, you can look at numbers for years.
Especially with the reports of Jordan Hill not probably picking up his exercising his option.
How tall is Jordan Hill even?
6'11",
That's what I'm saying. You need more size than that. We just talked about the Minnesota Timberwolves and how much size they're about to have.
Yeah.
You think the Lakers are going to be able to compete with that if they go and get Russell right now?
No.
Exactly. I mean, you can have Kobe Bryant. You can have the best shooter.
I mean,
right
look at what the Lakers used to have. I mean, Bynum and Gasol.
Oh my God, that's why they won.
Yeah.
They had size. I mean, Lamar Odom playing the 3 at what, 6'10"? I mean, that's how it works.
He's 6'11".
I'm sorry, my apology. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you're talking 3 guys.
He's pushing 7 foot. I mean, that's the thing. Like when
he got bigger over time. He wasn't that big when he first came in.
At one point, I mean, you're looking at 3 7-footers on out of the 5 on the starting lineup. I mean,
and that's how it could be with the Minnesota Timberwolves this year.
And right now, the other names that you're hearing is Porzingis.
Yeah, good shooter. I've actually, you know what? They were talking about how, with these guys like Porzingis and Moutier, right? Moutier? Is that how you say it? Yeah, Moutier. You don't see anything about it. You're just hearing from other people. I've seen that guy Porzingis.
Hazinga or something like that.
Yep.
It's something like that. Like, see, in my opinion, I'm a little scared of those guys.
Porzingis, I've seen play, and this kid. Okay, you're a power forward. You don't have the best ball handle. You tell me a power forward in the NBA that does have the best, ball handle. Nobody does. But I've seen this kid shoot. I've seen him play. He can rebound, and he can get bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I'm a big fan. I mean, if the Knicks do not get D'Angelo Russell, he is the next on the list. Do I think they should get Moutier? I don't think so. Because, again, that's a guy that I've only heard things about.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a guaranteed size. You're not guaranteed to get anything out of it. Justice Winslow, very athletic player. I mean, he's another option for the New York Knicks. But, again, I don't see it. I mean, very athletic. You're looking at, why are you going to put Winslow on a team that you have Carmelo Anthony? I mean, what are you trying to start there, New York? If the Knicks go out and get Winslow, you can just wave goodbye, New York Knicks fans. I mean, because you're not caring about a role. Guys need to have roles on teams. Russell would be a great role player. He'd take the ball out of Carmelo's hands, which that's what they need.
That's basically, first of all, having anybody with Carmelo Anthony is always going to be hard. I mean, Carmelo Anthony is a very hard player to play with. Yeah. We obviously saw that with Amari Stoudemire.
I don't see Winslow you just don't see him being an active player with it.
No.
I mean, you need to have the ball in your hand. You need to get the ball out of Carmelo's hands. Carmelo needs to have a role and needs to understand his role, that we understand you can create your own shot, Carmelo. We really do. We've seen you do it for years. We know you can create your own shot. But there comes a time where you need to get, you basically need to get your head out of your ass, and you need to go ahead and, come off screens, find ways to get open. I mean, you look at Steph Curry and what he was doing. Steph Curry did so much running without the basketball. It was scary. Coming off screens here, screens there. And if you wanted to come out and bring the double team on Steph Curry, boom, there's another option for you. And your other option, is it going to be Justice Winslow? Could be, but does the roles really fit together? I don't see it. I really don't. I mean, when you go and pick up someone like Justice Winslow, the New York Knicks are basically saying, here, Carmelo Anthony, we want to put someone else out there that's athletic, they can get to the hole. I mean, I could tell you someone that was like that. It was J.R. Smith, and it didn't mesh at all well.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now the New York Knicks need to understand that you need to get a point guard that's going to be able to hold on to the ball, take the ball out of Carmelo Anthony's hands, and if you want to take the other approach and not go after a point guard, okay, and you want Carmelo to have the ball in your hands, you need to get someone like this guy, Kristaps Porzingis, because this guy is someone that could definitely get bigger, get stronger. He's a guaranteed rebounder, which the Knicks desperately need. They need that size more than anything. They really do. Bargnani's not going to get you 15 boards a game. He's really, really not. Okay, is Porzingis going to get you 15 boards a game? Start out? No. But again, like I said, this is a process that's going to take a while for the New York Knicks. And I know you got Carmelo Anthony. I know the contract's coming out. But again, the New York Knicks are in a little bit of trouble. But when it comes to it, you got to expect it. You got to be realistic. It's going to take time. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. This is not something that can be fixed in one day. I think we wanted to move on, actually, real quick to the U.S. Open.
I mean, you got a lot of mixed opinions about this U.S. Open.
The course was a disaster.
One of the biggest things that was brought up was obviously the course, but I think that there's some things that people didn't even realize. This was Fox's first U.S. Open. They bought out the U.S. Open for the next 12 years. So every U.S. Open you'll be seeing played on Fox. Fox, I think, did pretty well for obviously their debut at televising golf.
Just a crappy course to do it at. I'm gonna be honest. This was a terrible course. The greens were atrocious.
I actually liked the course because it made it like it just made it
different,
more. I guess it made it more interesting. Like
I can understand.
You like to watch a guy hit a perfect shot, hit the green, and then roll off into the sand, like something like that, or hit it straight down the fairway, and it roll into
I just didn't like the greens. I guess I should say the greens should not have two different colors.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. At no point should they have two different colors. And my heart goes out to Johnson. That was a terrible putt to miss, and everyone wants to blame the green for it. I'm going to blame the green for it because no professional golfer misses a 4-putt putt. I'm sorry, unless there's a problem in there. But congratulations to Jordan Spieth, U.S. Open champion.
Yeah, basically, one of the biggest things that I thought was perfect for the U.S. Open and for Fox was that they actually have a ball tracker. I mean, especially with this course,
that was really cool.
Actually, very hard to see that ball in the air and where it was going to land. But I mean, otherwise, I liked it. I thought it was, it kind of brought these players back down to earth and how basically everybody else plays. It's supposed to be hard for these guys. It has to be. They're
even
professionals.
For the professionals, yep.
It has to be hard for these guys. And it was nice. It was interesting to watch. There was always something that you just didn't know was going to happen. And I mean, I think Jordan Spieth won he was 5 under.
He was a great,
when was the last time you saw a champion of a major that was 5 under? I mean, really.
Very challenging course. Jordan Spieth came out big. Very, very impressive win for him.
But that will do it for our show. We'll be back next week. I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
Be breezy. Thanks for listening to another episode of The Tom and Jerry Show.
You know, our jobs occupy more than half our waking hours. Shouldn't we be doing something we love? Call Connecticut School of Broadcasting at 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to GoCSB.com. Since 1964, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, with a network of 12 campuses from Massachusetts to Miami, has helped place thousands of grads as DJs, sportscasters, entertainment reporters, behind the scenes in audio and video production, every aspect of the broadcast media. Connecticut School of Broadcasting has trained men and women of all ages and backgrounds in a matter of months, not years. Learn by doing from area radio and TV pros. Call 1-800-TV-RADIO or log on to GoCSB.com. Remember, it's never too late to love what you do. Day and evening classes begin soon. Get trained. Get connected now.